Hello and welcome to Rouse IAS. This is the daily Films Practice Initiative wherein we discuss important MCQs from The Hindu and Indian Express. The topics for today's discussion are mentioned over your screen. So let's begin our session. So the first MCQ for today is based on this particular news article which appeared on the page number 8 of The Hindu. So this news article is about recently held United Nations Water Conference which was held in New York. So for our UPSC examination, we must have a clear idea about various bilateral and international conferences, treaties or organization. As in the year 2015, we found a question on Rio Plus 20 conference. Now let us solve our first practice question which states that with reference to the UN Water Conference 2023, which of the following statements is or are correct? Statement 1. It resulted in a legally binding commitment by national governments to meet the 2030 Sustainable Development Goal for water. Now, this is an incorrect statement. So, recently, after 5 decades, UN Water Conference 2023 was held in New York. The conference focused on urgent need for action to meet the Sustainable Development Goal 2030 for water, which is to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. However, this conference did not result in any legally binding commitment. Hence, this statement is incorrect. The second statement is it mandated developed countries to donate $100 billion a year from 2025 to help developing countries to cope with water scarcity problem. This is also an incorrect statement because there was no such provision in this water conference. So let us see some important points. Water sector is prone to fragmentation and mobilizing of global resources is challenging because water problems tend to be local. That is, in any particular country or region, any lake or any water body can be polluted and which requires local solutions. So this conference resulted in some commitments which included around 700 voluntary commitments by philanthropic donors, governments, corporations, and NGOs, though there was not any legally binding commitment. Among others, there was a $50 billion commitment from India to improve rural drinking water services under the Jal Jeevan mission. And the last such UN Water Conference was held in 1977. So the correct answer for our practice question would be option D, that is neither 1 nor 2. And the correct answer to our UPSC PYQ would be option A. So the next MCQ for today is based on this particular article which appeared on the page number 10 of The Hindu. So this article says that around 68% of corruption complaints against public functionaries that landed with the Lokpal of India were disposed of without any action in the past 4 years. So this report indicates that the performance of the Lokpal is far from satisfactory. So as we know that Lokpal is a statutory body. So for our UPSC examination, you must have a clear idea about important constitutional, non-constitutional, statutory and quasi-judicial bodies. And UPSC in the previous year 2018 had asked a question on National Green Tribunal, which is also a statutory body. So let us solve this practice question which states that consider the following statements with reference to the Lokpal and Lokayukt Act 2013. Statement 1. Lokpal chairman and the members can hold the office for a term of 5 years or till they attain the age of 65 years. So this is an incorrect statement. This is because the chairman of Lokpal and the members can hold the office for a term of 5 years or till they attain the age of 70 years, whichever is earlier. The second statement says, the members of the Lokpal shall be appointed by the Chief Justice of India. So this is also an incorrect statement as the members of Lokpal are appointed by the President of India based on the recommendations of a selection committee. Statement 3. Lokpal has jurisdiction over ministers and members of parliament in the matters of speeches delivered in the parliament. This is also an incorrect statement. This is because Lokpal has no jurisdiction over ministers or members of parliament in the matters relating to the speeches delivered in parliament or a vote cast in the parliament. So let us understand a few important facts in brief. The Lokpal and Lokayukt Act mandated for the establishment of Lokpal at the union level and Lokayukt at the state level. So Lokpal and Lokayukt is an anti-corruption body, and both of these are statutory bodies and do not have any constitutional status. So Lokpal at the central level is a multi-member body which consists of one chairman and a maximum of 8 members. The members of the Lokpal shall be appointed by the president on the recommendations of a selection committee. And this selection committee comprises of Prime Minister, Speaker of the lower house, leaders of opposition of the lower house or Lok Sabha, Chief Justice of India or a judge of Supreme Court nominated by him, and an eminent jurist nominated by President. So, if we talk about jurisdiction of Lokpal, Lokpal is an ombudsman which can inquire into the allegations of corruption against certain public bodies or organizations. So, the jurisdiction include Prime Minister, Ministers, Member of Parliament, Group A, B, C and D officers and the officials of the central government. But there are few exceptions. The jurisdiction of Lokpal includes Prime Minister except on allegations of corruption related to few matters. These include international relations, security, public order, atomic energy and space. Also, Lokpal does not have any jurisdiction over ministers or members of parliaments in the matter relating to any speeches delivered in the parliament or a vote cast in the parliament. So the correct answer to our practice question would be option D, that is none of the above, and the correct answer to our UPSC PYQ is option B. So the next practice question is based on this particular article which appeared on the page number 10 of The Hindu. So recently there was an avalanche near Nathula Pass. So for our UPSC examination, we must be clear regarding the locations of important rivers, passes, mountain ranges and other geographical features. In the year 2019, we found this particular question which was regarding the locations of glaciers and rivers. Now let us solve our practice question wherein you have to match important Himalayan passes to their locations. Statement 1. Pir Panjal Pass. It is located in Ladakh. This is incorrect. Bomdila Pass. It is located in Himachal Pradesh. This is also incorrect. Nathula Pass is located in Sikkim. This is correct. Mana Pass is located in Uttarakhand. This is also correctly matched. So this is the map of India wherein we can see various Himalayan passes. So in this map we can see Pir Panjal Pass. Pir Panjal Pass is located in the Pir Panjal range and it connects Kashmir Valley to Jammu. To the northeast of India, we can see Bomdila Pass. Bomdila Pass is located in Arunachal Pradesh and it connects Arunachal Pradesh with Lhasa, which is the capital of Tibet. Nathula Pass is located in Sikkim and it co-joins Sikkim and China. Mana Pass. Mana Pass is located in Uttarakhand and it connects Tibet with Uttarakhand. So the correct answer to this practice question is option B, as only 2 pairs are correctly matched. And the correct answer to our UPSC PYQ is option A. So the next practice question for today is based on recent developments in North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So for our UPSC examination, it is important to know important international groupings, organizations and regional groupings. In the year 2022, we found this particular question. It was regarding the members of Organization of Turkic States. So a practice question states that consider the following countries: United Kingdom, Sweden, Finland, Ukraine, Turkey. Which of the above are the members of North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO? So this practice question is based on this news article which appeared on the page number 13 of The Hindu. So recently, Finland has become the 31st country to join NATO. North Atlantic Treaty Organization is a military alliance of countries from Europe and North America. So with the induction of Finland as a member of NATO, NATO presently has 31 member countries. It was founded in 1949 with 12 founding members. So these are the member nations of NATO. The member nations can also be seen from this particular map. And now Finland has also joined NATO. So you can remember a fact that Finland is a member of NATO which shares the longest international land boundary with Russia. And till date, Sweden and Ukraine are not its members. So the correct answer to a practice question would be option D, as United Kingdom, Finland and Turkey are the members of NATO. And the correct answer to our UPSC PYQ is option C. Our next MCQ is based on this particular article which appeared on the page number 11 of Indian Express. So recently, Subashiri Dam project was hit by a landslide. So our next practice question is also location based. In the year 2017, we found a question on river Teesta. Now let us solve our practice question which states that which of the following is our tributary or tributaries of river Brahmaputra? The options include Kopili River, Teesta, Lohit, Subhasiri and Manas. So from this map we can see the important tributaries of river Brahmaputra. River Brahmaputra is a transboundary river and it enters India through Arunachal Pradesh. It has some important tributaries which includes Shiang River, Subhashiri River, Manas River, Teesta River, Kopili River, Dhanashri River, Lohit River and Dibang River. So in this map you can clearly see the important tributaries of river Brahmaputra. So let us see a few facts about Subhashiri River. Subhashiri is a trans-Himalayan river that originates in Tibet. It enters India through Arunachal Pradesh and joins Brahmaputra in Assam. And also Subhashiri River is the largest tributary of Brahmaputra River. So the correct answer to a practice question would be option D, as all these 5 rivers are the tributaries of river Brahmaputra. And the correct answer to our UPSC PYQ is option B. So the final MCQ for today is based on this particular article which appeared on the page number 7 of Indian Express. So the news article says that during inspection, some cracks have been found on Gateway of India, but the overall structure is fine. Though the Gateway of India is not a centrally protected monument. But for our UPSC examination, you must remember important provisions regarding the conservation and preservation of centrally protected monuments and heritage sites. In the year 2016, we found this particular question which was regarding Ajanta and Mahabalipuram, which are important historical places in India. Now a practice question states that with reference to the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains, Amendment and Validation Act 2010, consider the following statements. Statement 1. Categorization of historical sites is made on the recommendations of Archaeological Survey of India. Now this is an incorrect statement, as the categorization of historical sites in India is made on the recommendation of National Monument Authority. Statement 2. Prohibited areas around the protected monuments are extended up to 100 meters in all directions. Now this is a correct statement. Currently, construction up to 100 meters around protected monuments is prohibited. Statement 3. The National Monument Authority was created under this act. So this is also a correct statement, as National Monument Authority, which is a statutory body under the Ministry of Culture, was created under the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act. So one of the important functions of this authority is the protection and preservation of monuments and sites through management of the prohibited and regulated areas around the centrally protected monuments. So the correct answer to our question is option B, that is 2 and 3, and the correct answer to our UPSC PYQ is option B. So this brings an end to today's session. Stay connected for more updates. Thank you.